So let me show you this exact method I've showed so many of my students to level up their ball striking. Now let's suppose for 1 second, thinking about improving our impact is actually wrong. I want you to start thinking about the journey from the start of our downswing all the way to impact. Now I know that might sound strange. So I would imagine this way is gonna make you feel like you're gonna swing it slower, but you're going to have a lot more power. And that really excites me. Now, I want you to think about this race. And I love thinking about it this way. Our hoop represents a little mini stick person swinging around, okay? Now, when we're putting a lot of effort in and not getting a lot of power, and even finding it hard to strike irons like this one, a 6-iron, that's when we tend to see our club head win the race, and that race is between our hands and the club head. So suppose our hands are up here on the grip. When the club head wins the race, that creates a lot more of a weaker impact position. However, if I move slightly out of the way, when our hands win the race, now look at the difference. I started that whole downswing completely differently. When our hands win the race, look how we get that impact position we've desired. So let me show you that again, right? Club head wins the race. Look at the difference of the shaft angle. And when the hands win the race, wow, that really does give you a lot less effort and a lot more distance. And that excites me because if we can hit what we feel is a smoother swing with a lot less, well, what we feel is power going into it, then we're going to hit way more greens because we have way more control. It's like a snowball effect in a good way. And stood up, that would look something like club head wins the race and then hands win the race. So let me tell you this method. Well, first off, we started with the race analogy. So let me tell you about this method I've showed all my students to get their hands to win the race. And let me just illustrate this for you. You can actually follow along at this point. Grab your golf club in the middle, like you can see there. Equal amount, and just in what would be your lead hand. So your left hand for a right-handed golfer, your right hand for a left-handed golfer. And I just want you to understand, it's the relationship between your front arm, your left arm, and the golf club. When we do this right, this angle is held for much longer. So let's say at this point, our hands on our right thigh, the shaft is parallel to the ground. When we get this wrong, this angle goes early, and that causes the head to win the race ahead of the hands. Whereas, boom, in, hands win the race, crunching, powerful iron shots. Now, I was telling you about this way. I've explained to countless students now, literally on the lesson tee, just over here at Mottram Hall. And it gets me excited because I just hook them up to this. So I've got my hack motion on, and I go, right, full swing, drills, and they've got this new one, and this is why I'm excited to show you about it, called the casting drill. So essentially, when you cast, I want you to think of that now as a slightly different term of the head winning the race. When you don't cast, your hands win the race, which is insanely exciting. So how I do this with my students and with you, I do a rep, then I hit a shot. I do a rep, I then hit a shot, because your brain has chance to build up some muscle memory. So let's get to that address position. And I'm getting some audio feedback here right away, right? We're locked in to address. We swing it to the top, and I keep it in view. Now look, if I learn to keep this angle, boof, I get a green. That's exactly what I did. And my hands won the race. Now, if we show you the wrong version, so stand at address, go to the top, look how now, boof, into impact, casting. The angle's got too big and the head won the race. And do you know what? I've just realised here, you've got a little green and red, so you can see how many reps that you do is right and how many reps that you do are wrong. Hopefully we start to see some more green in this. So once I've done a good rep, I then want you to try and hit a shot. Now, some little bit of feedback from a coaching point of view, I really like to see golfers get into this left side just to aid getting this angle. There's a real skill to this. This is concentrating on the wrist element, but if we lean back, no matter how good our wrists are, we won't be able to nail it. So nice analogy at impact. Follow the feedback here, but as we get to impact, can we be into that left side 70-30, or maybe even 80-20, as opposed to, look how good my wrists are, but leaning back, by the time of impact, I'm not in a good space. So there's a little bit of extra feedback there. Okay, let's see if I can do it. I feel a bit nervous here. I'm talking a good game. Can we get it to be good? I wonder what? Whoo! Green. Okay. That was absolutely nailed. I just hit 6-iron the best part of 200 yards. That's on the green. Now, I want to illustrate something. I'm going to do a casting version very, very quickly and show you how much shorter that goes. So that whole idea of having less effort for more output. Now, just before that, a lot of people find it hard to sometimes take that slow rep into an actual shot. So my little bit of feedback for you here is exaggerate it. And what I mean by exaggerate it, possibly stand here and do some reps like this and some shots like this. I'm not going to hit this one. I want to prove a point to you in a second. But we go to the top, right? And we hit some shots really feeling aggressive, really feeling like our handle is like this all the way through, okay? So it's really aggressive, it's really exaggerated. So my feedback for you is I want you to feel sort of 70-30 or even 80-20 towards that lead side with the weight, and feel you really exaggerate that angle. That's a really great way of combining both elements. But let me show you this. I'm going to do a rep right here which really shows the bad version. So this is going to prove the whole theory of look how much effort I put into this and look how much shorter it goes. And we'll see some red data here. Oh my God, how left's that gone? So as I tell all my students to monitor your practice, see how many good reps you have versus how many bad reps, and then see how many times you can actually take what you're doing in the drill into a shot is so powerful. So remember those key points here on the side of the screen. For every shot you hit, do a rep off the golf ball and really think about those wrist angles, combining that with that feeling of getting into that lead side with the weight. Thanks for watching.